In the early 1990s, life in the crowded slum of Kasturba Nagar in Nagpur was hard but bearable. Families struggled with poverty, yet children still played in the alleys and women shared gossip while fetching water. That fragile normalcy shattered with the rise of Akku Yadav, a local thug, who quickly grew into a feared gangster. He extorted money from shopkeepers, terrorized families, and carried out unspeakable acts of violence, especially against women. Over more than a decade, countless families suffered under his rule. Those who dared to complain to the police were ignored, mocked, or even threatened, because Akku paid off officers and built his protection on corruption. For the women of the slum, every day became a nightmare. Doors were bolted before dusk, and children were warned never to step out alone. One by one, families were broken by his assaults and cruelty. Fear dominated, but quietly, anger began to grow. Among the women, a few voices started to say what others only thought. They could not depend on the system. If they wanted freedom, they would have to seize it themselves. At first, they met in secret. In small, dimly lit huts, women whispered their stories, shared their pain, and tried to summon courage. One strong-willed woman, often at the center of these gatherings, reminded them that silence was no protection if they stayed quiet. Akku would destroy them all. For every act of resistance, however, there was brutal retaliation. When a family dared to defy him, Akku would burn their hut, threaten their children, or attack again. Each atrocity only deepened the women's determination. Finally, the law seemed to catch up with him. Akku was arrested after years of impunity, and for a brief moment, hope flickered in Kasturba Nagar. But soon the truth came out. He was expected to be released on bail. The police, who should have protected the people, instead joked with him, shared tea, and reassured him that he would be free in no time. Watching this, the community realized with finality that no outside help was coming. That night, the women gathered in silence and prepared. Kitchen knives were sharpened and hidden in cloth. Small packets of chili powder were tied up, ready to be flung into his eyes. Stones were tucked away in their sutries. They were not acting out of sudden rage, but from years of wounds, humiliation, and betrayal. On August 13, 2004, Akku Yadav was brought into the district courtroom in Nagpur. He walked in with his usual arrogance, mocking the women present, confident that by evening he would walk free. But in that instant, his reign ended. A woman hurled chili powder into his face, and as he staggered, hundreds surged forward. Knives flashed, stones struck, voices screamed in fury and pain. Akku was overwhelmed, beaten until he collapsed. Guards fled, the judge ducked for cover, but the women did not stop until they were sure the terror that had haunted their lives was gone forever. When silence fell, Akku lay dead on the courtroom floor. The women stood together, bloodied but unbroken, no longer victims but victors. Outside, the news spread like wildfire. Reporters swarmed the courthouse, capturing the extraordinary scene of women declaring that they had taken justice into their own hands. One woman, speaking for many, told the cameras, "We begged for justice. No one listened, so we became justice." Back in Kasturba Nagar, life slowly began to change. Children laughed again in the alleys. Women walked freely, no longer looking over their shoulders. The shadow that had loomed for more than a decade was gone. Though scarred, the community was reborn in defiance. For the rest of India and the world, the story of the women of Kasturba Nagar became a shocking and powerful symbol. It was not just the tale of a gangster's end, but of what happens when ordinary people, abandoned by the institutions meant to protect them, find strength together. They had been dismissed as victims, but they proved themselves warriors.